In this episode of the Bannerlord Perks guide, we will look at the trade skill perks. By the end of this video, you will have a complete understanding of what each one does and which to pick based on your specific needs. I release 2 to 3 Bannerlord videos per week, so consider subscribing to see more. Timestamps are in the description, and let's get started. Appraiser. This perk decreases the trade penalty for selling equipment by 15%, which is defined as any weapon or armor. From the testing, we can see a 12.4% increase in sale price with the perk. The secondary perk tags all of our current inventory relative to the sale price for the current location we're at. There are 4 categories: big profit, small profit, break even, and losing money. Wholesaler. Similar to the previous perk, this one decreases the trade penalty when selling trade goods by 15%. A trade good is defined as anything that is not equipment or an animal. We can see in the testing a paltry 0.85% increase in sell price with the perk. The secondary perk is the same as Appraiser. If we were to sell 100,000 dinars worth of equipment, we would earn an extra 12,000 dinars with Appraiser. To earn that same amount of profit increase with Wholesaler, we would need to sell nearly 1.5 million dinars worth of trade goods. Personally, I never take Wholesaler for this reason, but if you're doing a strictly trade playthrough and don't plan on fighting any battles, then it can help a little bit. Caravan Master. Taking this perk will grant a 30% increase to inventory capacity. We can see in the testing a 30% increase for everything: base, troops, and pack animals. The secondary perk tags all of the inventory from towns and villages that we can buy. It uses the same color coding as the previous perk, but the colors represent the buying price relative to the global price for that item. So buying a dark green item means we will be buying it significantly lower than the average price around Calradia. Market Dealer. If you own workshops, then this perk will reduce their upkeep by 20%. For testing of this perk, we bought 3 workshops and let them run for a full year and compared both with and without. Oddly enough, we earned more money without the perk. There will always be random variation with workshops. However, I think it's quite clear that the perk either doesn't work or is so small that variance makes it imperceptible. The secondary perk is the same as Caravan Master. Based on the testing, I can't recommend taking Market Dealer for any reason. At least the extra inventory space is helpful from Caravan Master. Local Connection. Trade rumors are updates to pricing for specific items without having to physically be there. This perk allows us to update trade rumors in towns we own with workshops in them. We own a workshop in Volstrom, Oskar, and Tyal, and can see an updated information regarding grain purchase price there. The secondary perk decreases trade penalty for animals by 15%. We can see a 0.59 increase in sale price with the perk. Oh, how I long for the 1 and 2% perk days. A quick note, this perk does not affect mounts as they are not animals. Traveling rumors. Similar to the previous perk, this one allows all our caravans to gather trade rumors. Since caravans travel all over, we can see a huge update to pricing for grain, making it easier to find a great deal. The secondary perk decreases the buy-side trade penalty from villages by 15%. We can see a massive 1.77% discount when buying items from this village. The pick here will depend on your style. If you do a lot of livestock trading, then local connections is great. If you often buy from villages, then traveling rumors can help. If you use caravans, then I prefer traveling rumors since they will update rumors everywhere they go. If you take local connections, I recommend putting workshops in the towns that usually have amazing deals, such as Askar for Asarai horses, Seonan for hardwood, etc. Distributed goods. With this perk, we can double the relation gain each time we complete a quest from an artisan. We can see in the testing we gained 7 relations without the perk and 15 with. The secondary perk is for governors and generates gold for each villager party entering our town. Toll gates. Similar to the previous perk, this one doubles relations gain with merchants instead. We see the exact same number in testing, 7 without and 15 with. The secondary perk is for governors and generates 20 gold for each caravan entering our town. For the main, toll gates is the pick. There are significantly more merchants than artisans in Calradia. Each town starts with at least 1 merchant, 1 artisan, and 1 gang leader, and as prosperity increases there, the town will gain up to 3 merchants and 3 gang leaders, but still have only 1 artisan, hence the pick. For governors, if the town has 3 or 4 bound villages, then distributed goods is best. Otherwise, toll gates is the pick. Artisan community. If you've been underwhelmed so far, don't worry. This perk is S tier and generates renown based on profitable workshops owned. In the test, we owned 7 workshops total, let time move forward 1 day, and gained 6 renown. Notice the pottery shop in Askar is not profitable yet, so we don't gain renown from it. The secondary perk increases the recruitment slots from merchants by 1. In the test, we see 2 merchants with no recruitment possible without the perk, and 1 slot each with the perk. Great Investor. Similar to the previous perk, this one gives +1 renown for each profitable caravan we own. In the testing, we see an increase of 14 to renown after waiting 1 day. We had only started 9 caravans running, but encountered a bug where they duplicated themselves and were actually running 18 in total. The secondary perk decreases the recruitment cost of companions by 30%. The Scholar is recruitable for 30.1% less with the perk. In the current patch, caravans are very underwhelming, so I find myself picking Artisan Community. The extra recruitment slot for merchants is also very useful. If you do run caravans, then pick Great Investor. Content Trades. The Governor perk increases tariffs by 10% or roughly 10 to 20 dinars per day. The secondary perk decreases wages by 50% while waiting in a settlement. One thing that came up in testing is that the reduction to wages happens only on the expense line and not the daily wages. This is relevant when trying to stack wage reduction perks, as this will reduce their effectiveness by 50% as well. Mercenary Connections. The Governor perk increases workshop production by 25%, which can help if we own workshops in the town. The secondary perk decreases mercenary wages by 25%. This time, we can see the discount to wages is taken from both the daily party wages and total expenses. If we stack a few more wage reduction modifiers, we can go past 100% and earn income from our troops. If we go full cult leader, we can get them paying us as much as 70% of their wages. If we took content trader, it would actually reduce our wage income by 50% because of how it's calculated. For our main pick, content trades is okay if you don't plan on taking Steward wage reduction perks. My preference is to take mercenary connections and stack with Steward perks. For the Governor perk, mercenary connections is the pick if you own workshops in the town. Otherwise, take content trades. Insurance plans. One of the biggest drawbacks of caravans is the risk of losing it. This perk gives back 5,000 dinars when we lose a caravan, reducing the risk by about 33%. We can see in the testing our caravan gets cornered by a minor faction, and once destroyed, our dinars increase from 2,000 to 7,000. The secondary perk reduces the buy price trade penalty for food by 25%. With the perk, we see an overall price reduction of just under 1%. Rapid development. This perk is supposed to refund 5,000 when a workshop we own is taken through conquest of a town. I couldn't get it to work after trying several different scenarios, so let me know in the comments if you've gotten this to work before and how you got it to work. The secondary perk reduces buy price trade penalty for a few trade goods by 25%. Cotton is not a trade item in Bannerlord, so I ran tests trying to figure out which one it was. In the first test, we see only 0.5% reduction, but later we found the test to be inaccurate. I then tested each item individually, and most reductions were around the 2.5% mark. I eventually decided to try to add cotton through the console command, and it turns out raw silk is the culprit. If you run a lot of caravans, insurance plans is a necessity. Getting back 5,000 dinars is a massive boost to the break-even point for caravans. I also prefer the food trade penalty reduction because towns always need tons of food after a recent conquest. However, the net benefit is much greater for rapid development, so it's worth considering. Granary Accountant. More trade penalty reductions. Yay. This one reduces food sale penalty by 20%. In the testing, we could see a 1.42% benefit with the perk. It ain't much, but it's better than 0.5%, I guess. The secondary perk is for governors and increases village production for specific goods. Tradeyard Foreman. We see cotton making another appearance, this time with a 20% reduction in trade penalty as well as a couple other goods. In testing, we see the same 1.42% net benefit from the perk, but is limited to 4 goods. The secondary perk is for governors and is similar as the previous, but for clay, iron, raw silk, and silver. The main pick here depends on which trade goods you will be selling mostly. I find myself using food more often, but both are good. For governor, the pick will depend on what your bound villages produce the most of. Self-made man. This is an odd one. It reduces barter penalty for items by 50% with nobles. We can see from the testing a 50% reduction in price for buying, but no difference when selling. Notice the price of these 8 horses comes to roughly 900 dinars per horse, so even at 50%, it's still 4 times more expensive than the average price at a normal town. The governor perk increases build speed for certain town projects by 30%. Sword for barter. This perk reduces the cost of hiring mercenaries by 20%. We can see in the testing exactly 20% reduction in hiring price. The secondary perk reduces caravan troop wages by 15%. We can see in the testing a reduction of 15.3% with the perk. One thing to note, this perk is useless for our main character as we can never lead a caravan, so it only works for companions. I can't imagine a reason why we would want to pay 4 times the cost for something from bartering, so Sword for Barter is the pick for our main. Self-made man is the only governor option, and Sword for Barter is a must-have for any companions leading a caravan. Silver Tongue. The first perk here reduces the cost of avoiding battles by 50%. We can see in the test exactly 50% less dinars to avoid battle. The secondary perk gives 15% better deals from villagers and caravans. Starting with villagers first, we see a 14% cost reduction to buy all of their goods. For caravans, we bought all of their inventory and spent 14% less with the perk. Spring of Gold. I'm really happy Tailworlds came up with this perk as it's quite clever. We get a passive interest payment based on the size of our current dinar bank. We can see from testing we get 1 dinar for every 1,000 we have in the bank. At 500,000 we earn 500 per day and max out at 1 million in the bank, earning 1,000 dinars per day. It's zero risk, free money. The governor perk increases the reserve gold boost by 20%. I feel like Silver Tongue should be much earlier in the perk tree as they are very weak for a mid and late game. Spring of Gold should be the pick unless you plan on being broke all game, as you need money to make money. Spring of Gold is also the only governor perk. Man of Means. The wording is really strange with this one, but it supposedly reduces the cost when hiring mercenaries. I wasn't able to get reliable data for this one as it was jumping between 80 to 400 and everywhere in between, both with and without the perk. The secondary perk reduces the ransom offer after being captured by 30%. In testing, we could see a 27% reduction, although there was some RNG with the offer amounts as they rarely came in at the same number after repeating the tests. Trickle down. If we spend more than 10,000 dinars in a single transaction, we gain +1 relation with all merchants in the town. We can see in the test we purchased just over 10,000 worth of food and gain relations with both town merchants. The governor perk adds 1 prosperity per day while upgrading buildings. For the main pick, I don't find either all that useful. I would rather have Trickle Down to increase recruitment with merchants after enough trades. However, if Man of Means actually does work for mercenaries, then it's a decent pickup. Everything has a price. The Holy Grail for all aspiring traders. This perk allows us to buy fiefs from other nobles through barter. There's quite a wide range in pricing depending on the fief, but most castles sell between 500,000 and 1 million dinars, and most towns sell between 1.5 million and 3 million dinars. We are nearing the end of the video, which means it's time for the bonus. The first part is a quick tip. When you get into the late game, it's easy to accumulate more equipment loot than you can sell to one town, making it a real hassle to turn into cash. Instead, go to any of your fiefs bound villages and sell the loot there. You will sell at a loss, but don't worry because your villages act like companions. Anything you give to them will be sold and the profits come directly back to you. It may take several days to filter the money, but rest assured it will all be there. There are several cheese guides and exploits for leveling trade quickly, but not a ton about doing it the legit way, so we will cover my favorite method here. To start, we will get our riding level up to 175 for riding horde. The reason we need this is twofold. We can take as many animals as we want without being slowed down that much, and we can load up on pack animals, effectively giving us an infinite amount of inventory space for trade goods. Now we will test how quickly we can go from level 1 to 225, starting in the summer of 1086. Until we get level 25 trade, we need to manually look at each item. My preference is to buy anything that is 50% below the average or less. This wine will make an excellent first purchase as it's 78% below market value. We buy a few other goods at excellent prices and all of the pack animals we can get our hands on. At the next town, we look to sell our wares for anything at average or higher, or basically everything until it turns green. The wine we purchased for cheap will sell here for 39 to start, all the way down to 33 without turning green, meaning we made at least 78% return on this trade or even higher. One town later and we hit level 25 to pick up the inventory perk. making it easier to spot good sales. Now we only look at bright green items to sell, moving the slider down until they turn light green. We can see the leather turns light green at 131, so we stop. Only a couple trades later we reach level 50, which is the buy side inventory perk, allowing us to spot good buys without going one by one. At this point we can simply buy everything dark green without having to check it. The only caveat here, certain items will have a massive quantity, usually in the several thousands, and buying the whole stack at once might cause the price to raise up into low profit or even losing money territory, so slow down for anything over a couple hundred items and use the slider. At this point we should be visiting every town on the way south towards Asteroid territory. The goal is to pick up as many horses as we can and then sell off anywhere up north for a good price. We can stop off at each town along the way to maximize our profits and time. Let's speed this up a bit with the trading montage. I also would like to mention one important thing. When doing a trading campaign, your biggest enemy is your troop wages. Each day you pay the troops will eat into your profits. My favorite way to reduce this is hiring tier 3 mercenary cavalries and take both the trade perk and steward perk, each lowering mercenary wages by 25%. The last thing you want to do is work hard trading just to pay your men's salary, but not making any money for yourself. Let's interrupt the montage for just a second. Notice our inventory capacity is in the hundreds of thousands, but our movement speed is still at 4.2. Buy everything you can that's green. We finally reached 225 in the spring of 1087, which means we gained 225 levels in only 3 months in game time. Trading can be a real grind, but it doesn't have to be. I recommend building your bank account up first with quests, being a mercenary, workshops, or smithing, and then transition into trading once you have some cash in the bank and riding level 175. Don't forget to hit the like button before you go, and consider subscribing if you want to see more Bannerlord content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.